It is alignment with his purpose. Are you ready to trust him and make the necessary changes? The problem wasn't who Jonah was, but where he was supposed to be. Jonah carried a mission from God, and the ship wasn't the place for him at that moment. The captain, on the other hand, faced a dilemma. Keep Jonah and risk losing everything, or have the courage to throw him into the sea. How many times do we hold on to something or someone because we can't see another way? Like the captain, we believe there's no alternative, yet God shows us that sometimes removal is the only solution. The captain lost the cargo before identifying the real problem. This teaches us that insisting on keeping what needs to be removed can cost us dearly. When Jonah was finally thrown into the sea, the storm ceased and peace was restored. However, the captain had already suffered great losses in the process. Think about this. What or who is in the ship of your life causing storms? Sometimes we need courage to do what seems impossible. Don't let the fear of separation prevent you from living the fullness that God has for your life. Now, let's look at the story of Joseph in Genesis, chapter 37, verse 28. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. Genesis 37:28, NIV. Joseph had a vision that was different from his brothers. He saw the world through other eyes and aspired to greater things. This unsettled his brothers, who, consumed by envy, decided to remove him from their lives. They sold him into slavery, believing they were destroying his future. However, God used this removal to fulfill an extraordinary purpose. Joseph was taken to Egypt, where he became governor and saved countless lives, including his own family. Here's a powerful lesson. Envy worries about who you might become, but God's purpose always focuses on where he is taking you. The merchants who bought Joseph were not concerned with his future. They only wanted to profit. But God used that environment to prepare Joseph for something far greater. Sometimes God removes us from places where we are not understood. He places us in environments where we can grow and fulfill the purpose he has for us. It may be painful, but it is necessary. Just as the captain had to remove Jonah and Joseph had to be separated from his family, we too are called to make tough decisions in our lives. Ask yourself, what needs to be removed from your life so you can move forward? Who or what is causing storms in your ship? Are you willing to trust God and allow him to lead these removals? Remember, removal may be painful, but it is an essential step for God's purpose to be fully manifested in your life. Sometimes it takes courage to throw Jonah into the sea or allow God to take us to Egypt to prepare us for something much greater. Trust the process and know that God is always working for your good. There are moments when God calls us to remove something or someone from our lives. This is not easy, especially when that person or situation brings us some form of advantage or comfort. But this removal is necessary to prepare us for something greater, a new level in our journey. Look at Joseph, the great-grandson of Abraham. His story is fascinating. He was sold by his own brothers, taken to Egypt as a slave, and there he rose to become governor. Years later, those same brothers who sold him came to live in the land that Joseph had secured for them. Now, think with me. At first, Joseph's brothers didn't fit into his life. Their envy and conflicts made it impossible for them to walk together, but over time they fit perfectly. This teaches us that sometimes certain people or situations don't belong in our present, but may be essential in the future when we are ready to handle them. Removal is a difficult process. As we saw in the story of Abraham, he began his journey at the age of 75 and waited 25 years to experience the fullness of God's promises. God works in timelines we often don't understand, but they always have a purpose. Today, we often resist change because it challenges us to leave our comfort zones. Consider a couple I recently counseled who are facing the possibility of divorce because the wife struggles to remove certain habits, such as excessive cell phone use or using inappropriate language. Small changes that seem simple can have a massive impact, but require effort and the willingness to let go of what has already become established. Try to establish a daily devotional habit, and you'll see how challenging it can be. Try waking up early to pray, read the Bible, or meditate. The chances of encountering obstacles are high, because to incorporate these new habits, you must remove others that are comfortably settled into your routine. The same applies to spiritual habits as a couple. Try praying hand in hand with your spouse every night, or practicing fasting a few times a week. Why is it so difficult? because before starting something new, we need to let go of what already exists and brings us comfort. May I share something personal? During a devotional on a Friday morning, a simple prayer changed the course of my day, and perhaps my life. That morning could have ended in a scandal, with my name splashed across the media and devastating consequences. But because I prayed for 5 to 7 minutes asking God to guide my day, I arrived at a location 20 minutes early and resolved a problem that could have destroyed me. This taught me that creating good habits requires removing bad ones. If you don't, you'll remain trapped in the same patterns that have limited your life. Today, I want to invite you to reflect. What needs to be removed from your life? Perhaps it's a habit, a relationship, or even something internal, like fear or complacency. God wants you to grow, but growth requires space. And to create that space, you must let go of what no longer serves. Removal is painful, but it always precedes a new beginning. Trust the process and allow God to prepare you for the life He has planned for you.